strategy rather than a quick video that you even just watched. So number one you've got to understand is that you want to cultivate a lifestyle of low dopamine. What do I mean by this? Having sort of a stable lifestyle is like just not having a lot of stimulants on a daily basis. This can greatly improve your sleep even. When I stopped drinking coffee, I started sleeping better. You know, I needed less. I started to show up better in the tasks that I needed to do. I could sit down to read a book without my mind going all over the place and me getting jittery. Right? If I drank a cup of coffee now, I'd probably go through the roof because, you know, my dopamine levels have been restored. Number two, sugar. This is a big one, and this is the silent killer people miss. Sugar literally makes you, like, forget a lot of things. I was becoming really forgetful, and again, it was sort of the same effect as stimulants, because you get that dopamine spike from sugar as well. Pornography and excessive masturbation, like looking at that shorter-term reward. Pornography does something crazy to your brain. It gives you that spike and that spike and that spike and that spike the more you watch it. And the less likely you are to actually focus on work and the longer-term gratifying activities that you need to do to help your business and your life move forward. And finally, social media. This is the silent killer. This is just as deadly as porn, sugar, and stimulants. But people, it's deadlier because we just don't understand that it is deadly. Okay, this is the silent killer, if you will. The more you check social media, you know, the more you check your notifications, especially doing it first thing in the day when you reach for your phone right after you wake up. What it does to your brain is similar to taking a hit of cocaine. When you check your notifications and you get that high, it's the same thing. I remember the deadliest thing that it did to me was I would just jump from one app to the next. I would go from YouTube to Gmail, and from Gmail to Facebook, Facebook to Instagram, Instagram to Snapchat, and then back again. I would just keep doing that for an hour, just trying to scroll through my feed to find that one thing that gives me that high. Right? It's absolutely insane how it does this. So to really cultivate a sustainable lifestyle with that, I completely deleted Instagram off my phone. Okay, that's what you want to do. Just decrease your phone time, your screen time entirely. Ideally, you want to keep your screen time to around 40 minutes max per day. No more than that. And you can check that through your Android phone in settings or iPhone as well in the settings. So you no more than 40 minutes per day. And if you need to check something for your business, let's say, do it on your computer during work hours. After work hours, no phone. When you work, you work. When you rest, you rest. Okay? This is number one. This is probably one of the most important things to do. You know, cultivate a lifestyle of low dopamine. And really something that's going to help you do that is setting your environment for a low activation energy so that there's no relapse. Okay? What do I mean by this? Well, activation energy, we're going to define this as the minimum energy required for you to relapse. Okay? So this is the minimum energy required for you to relapse. We want to increase the activation energy so it requires us more energy to relapse. Okay? So to demonstrate this in a graph, let's say this is your current activation energy to relapse. Right? AE1. AE2 would be higher than AE1. Right? So this purple graph is higher than the black one. And what AE2 symbolizes is basically like, let's say AE1 is you having Instagram on your phone. AE2 is deleting the Instagram app off your phone. And the only way for you to go to Instagram is to type Instagram.com on your computer and actually log in. Right? So AE2 massively decreases how much Instagram you're going to be using, because now it takes you more energy to access the app. Okay? So you want to set your environment up for high activation energy. How do you do that? Again, deleting all those apps from your phone that would distract you. You know, stopping any compulsive activities and stopping you getting triggered into relapsing. If you go into Instagram, you see a picture of a scandalous girl, then you're going to go into porn sites. It's going to take you from one thing, it's going to trigger you into going into that, right? That's the loophole that you go through, the black hole that you go through into relapse. And then another big thing is getting rid of all junk food and sugar and not keeping any sort of desserts at home, right? So then you just don't have the choice. You have fruits, you want to have dessert, you can have fruit. this was a big lifestyle change that was key for me as well in terms of getting better sleep. If you stop eating sugar at nighttime, you'll see your quality of sleep just goes up massively, right? Yeah, the big thing for me was deleting all the apps from my phone. Push notifications, biggest killer. Getting rid of push notifications as well. That's also activation energy for you to relapse. If you look at an email that's come up, okay, even if it's from a client, even if it's from your boss, even if it's from work, you're going to keep thinking about it even if you don't intend to respond to it now. So why not just turn off the push notifications and actually check your notifications when you consciously choose to do so, okay? So what's the element that's missing in all of this is consciousness. You unconsciously relapse. If you choose to do it, that's a completely different matter, right? If you choose to have sex with your partner, that's a completely different matter. If you choose to check your social media, check your email, it's a completely different matter. But when it's unconscious, then it starts to control you and it starts to run your life, okay? So that's number 2, increasing activation energy, not low activation energy, high activation energy. Okay. Number 3, this is also a huge one, and this is just spending more time in non-doingness. Okay. This is a Tao concept. If you read the Tao Te Ching, there's this concept of non-doingness. He who does the least really starts to control the most. Right? So, again, this goes to the paradigm of having, doing, and being. When you do less, you're naturally being more. Learn to just be. Learn to just sit and do nothing. Like, if I have an hour between calls or at work, I'll just try to do nothing. I'll just sit there and do nothing. I'll just sit outside and watch nature. Because if you just sit here quietly and you learn to observe things around you, you're going to learn a lot more than that quick hour of reading a book. Just start doing nothing. I'm promising you your quality of life will just go through the roof. Like every single thing that you do will gain such a great vibrancy when you learn to do nothing. Okay? And with that, I conclude this video. I hope this was helpful. Let's recap this really quick. What we talked about was getting focus, eliminating procrastination, and the best way to do that is to cultivate a lifestyle where you're no longer needy to a shorter term high, okay? And number 1 is we talked about the differences between the gratification, the short-term versus long-term gratification, why successful people are wired for a longer-term gratification. And in order for you to be successful, you've got to be wired for longer-term gratification. I mean, what's crazy is that I saw Gary Vee's TikTok and it just drove me nuts. Like, he says his morning routine is he wakes up and he checks his email to see if he gets anything panicky or alarming. I'm sure he's driving himself nuts. Like, how can you live like that? You know? So I'm not sure that's a sustainable way to go, but from my personal experience, from what I've seen other successful entrepreneurs do, you've got to start becoming proactive and not reactive to all your social media. Even if you have a social media-based business, okay? It's completely possible to do so. And it's a complete limiting belief that you've got to be on your phone 24/7. That's just going to ruin you, okay? So, understand that right now that most professionals are unable to start their businesses and they procrastinate on it because they're wired for the weekly paycheck. They're getting the paycheck after paycheck, and when you're in your business, the income doesn't come. It doesn't make sense for you to put in the work. So you are wired for that short-term gratification, getting your bi-weekly paychecks. But obviously, when you start off a business, you're not going to get paid bi-weekly.
Monster Energy. Just started the campaign. I am doing the 250 East one, and this is a little difficult on it, even very easy. I mean, it's not that bad, but there's a couple people in front that still overtake you, so at least you can rewind though. I wasn't sure if you could rewind, but it's R1 and you can rewind. The loading screens are going to be killer though. Okay, I'm trying to get the hole shots to where you start perfectly and you can overtake everybody. There's a trophy for that, and now we're gonna go. Okay, it didn't work that well, but at least we got it better than you usually do. It's just a clusterfuck at the beginning. Oh shit. I didn't want to go off this side. You could basically, I don't even know what the point of real physics is, because it hardly does anything when you move the right stick. Bop 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 bop. See that guy? He'll be tugging with you along the whole race. Maybe if I can over past him, it might not be too bad. Yeah, I did it. I love the jumps in this game, though. It feels so good. Oh, shite. See, and he likes to sneak up on you. This is a really short track. Thank goodness. Where do I go? This way? I don't know. Hope they know what to do. I mean, hope they don't know what to do. See, that's the thing about computer. The computer knows where the track is, whereas you have to figure it all out. Sometimes see, I have to rewind. I did a crash. Cowabunga! Do jump! Oh sh! I always land on top of these blocks, and they just make your bike go crazy. Oh shit! I did not mean to do that. If you don't get the turn right, you're gonna be going slow. Super jump. 250. I think there's like 18 or 20 races, and each you have to do the career 3 times, and I'm not sure if you have to do each track, but that would suck if you do. Wanna be? I turn off the music. I turn off the sound because it gets really annoying. Like, even if I haven't heard the songs, like, I'll get annoyed really quickly with racing games. It just comes with the territory. Hey, if you're new to the stream, I'm just chilling, playing some MX. Maybe it's not the most entertaining thing, but at least it's something to do. Just flinging around the corners right now. I'm doing pretty good. Oh, snap. That's a huge jump. I don't get what the point of those little columns are. There's not even a checkpoint. Well, it'll just show your best time for that segment, but it's still kind of pointless. And we got one more lap to go. Let's do a return here, and we just keep going. I want a different. I want a street track. I want a street track for MX. That'd be pretty cool if we could get a street track for Monster Energy. Don't wanna be the last man standing. I just platinumed NASCAR the game Inside Line yesterday. That took forever because I had to get 250 online races. Races done, and essentially that's about it. But now I can sell 2 copies of NASCAR Inside Line, and that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to finish up some games so I can sell them. But this is just a downloaded game right now. But I'm waiting for somebody to boost another game pretty soon. Oh, I won! I'll get a trophy. I'll get a trophy for every track. We're gonna continue. Ooh, 777. Is that my number? Is that my number I picked? It looks like Elon Musk. Let's see. The one guy on the podium. Hey, what's up? Just doing some races in Monster Energy. I won 2 of my 3 races so far. There might be a trophy for photo mode, but I don't care about it right now. Ooh, I get credits. Lots of credits. 50,000. Ooh.
Weekly, right? So it.
So how does a 5'7", 30-year-old balding Indian guy date literal model?
90-Day Fiancé videos have been making the rounds on YouTube these days, and wow, there are some amazingly toxic relationships in that show.
Playing or what?
I don't know why you care, I mean, we're having like...
Hey, if you're new to the channel, I stream variety of video games. Any games I feel like playing. Right now I'm playing Monster Energy Supercross. And won my last 2 races. This one looks pretty interesting. Looks like lots of turns. Has an overbridge. Loading screens are pretty killer. I'm trying to get the hole shots where I just fling off the start, but it's really difficult. And go. There we go. I got it. No, I didn't. Did I get the whole shot? I don't think I got the whole shot. it's just a mess of people in the beginning. That's the most annoying thing about these games. God dang it, don't return me. Okay, I gotta rewind. That was a bunch of crap. I don't know what even was going on. Let's see. That should be good. I love rewinding in this game. I don't know if you have... I think you have infinite rewinds, but I don't know. I can do sharp turns, and you basically can cut a lot of people doing that. Okay, I'm gonna rewind again. This is getting pretty annoying. Oh, I wrecked him! Did you see that? God dang it. Oh shit. God dang it. I got it in first. I'm in first place. I'm in first place. Kachuting. I don't know what that. What is that called? Is that Yamaha or Kachuting 10? Kachuting Kings 10. Yamaha. That's annoying, and I keep on going. Yeah, yeah. My applications are always suspending. Oh, oh.
Unfortunately, it can be hard to recognize when your own relationship is headed for trouble until it's too late. So today, we're going to cover 7 red flags that are early signs of a toxic relationship. Now, because this is reality TV, it has some extreme examples and everything is heavily edited, so we're only going to cover situations that are common in everyday life and that people tend to ignore. So we won't cover signs that are hopefully obvious, like a 30-year age gap, a history of domestic abuse, or straight up telling you that they only like you for your money.
So you're basically saying that you're just dating me because I can buy you things? Yes.
The first early warning sign of a potentially toxic relationship is when someone, them or you, prioritizes being attractive over being honest. Sometimes this will be outright lying about something to make themselves seem more attractive, like Ed does in this clip.
Am I what you expected you like?
I expected yours told for me.
I thought if I told you I was the same height, maybe I would have a chance.
Other times it might be holding back from telling you something important because they think you'll like them less for it.
I don't want more kids, but she does. I didn't tell her sooner because I didn't want to lose her.
This behavior is often justified like that, saying that they love you so much they didn't want to risk losing you. And especially when it's something less important like height, it can be easy to write it off as a small thing. But even for something small, when you catch someone prioritizing being attractive over being honest, it's a red flag. This person is showing that they're willing to deceive you if it'll get them what they want. If you ignore this early sign, you may find yourself in a manipulative relationship. Another early sign of a manipulative relationship is if the person makes it a headache to not give them what they want. For example, in this next clip, the woman is seeing her long-distance boyfriend for the first time in a long time. And this is the first thing she says.
Where's your flowers?
That joke alone is actually totally fine, but unfortunately for that guy, it keeps going.
You look great. Where are my flowers? No flowers, honey. I'm sorry.
I'm sure this guy cringed when a few minutes later they walked past the flower stand.
That is the flowers, coach. Yep, that's all the flowers.
Oh?
I'm not going to buy you $20 for flowers with
$20?
At first you might think this is harmless behavior. After all, she's definitely making sure this guy learns his lesson. Bring flowers to the airport or get a headache. But you shouldn't be in a relationship where people are motivated by avoiding a headache. Instead, search for a relationship where you and the person treat each other the way you both want to be treated because you're inspired to, without needing the threat of negativity. Nagging is only one of the common tactics for doing this. Another headache tactic to manipulate you is to attack your self-esteem, insulting you until you do what they want just to prove them wrong, like Jennifer does here.
Are you too coward
I'm too coward.
for that?
I am.
Maybe you're not the right for me.
Maybe.
You're too for everything.
The last common tactic that some people will try to use to manipulate you is frequent crying. Now, it should go without saying, it's important to comfort a partner who is genuinely crying and has good reason. You'll have to use your judgment here. But as an example, watch what Darcy does after this man says he doesn't want to sleep with her the very first night they met.
Do you want to sleep here and I sleep downstairs? Is that...
No, I just don't really feel comfortable sleeping alone.
Whether it's with nagging, attacking your self-esteem, or guilt, if your partner frequently uses negative emotions to get you to do what they want, it's a good sign you're heading for a toxic relationship. Another early sign of a toxic relationship is when they say what they think you want to hear, but then later their actions don't match their words. For example, saying they care about you, but then being purposefully hurtful.
I don't ever want to hurt you.
Yeah, okay.
And try not to ruin the next one.
I'm happy to move on. I got bigger and better coming.
Put weight on.
Another example would be promising to support you in something, but then not following through.
We broke up last year. It was like, anything you need, you can rely on me. I can help you. Suddenly he disappeared and I needed his help, like his support.
As outside observers, it's obvious to us that if she gets back together with someone who promised to help her and then abandoned her, he'll just continue to promise the world and then underdeliver. But she gets back with him anyway. Why? Because when you like someone, you want the nice things they say to be true. That's why it's important that you maintain strong relationships outside of your romantic one. Your friends and family are often going to have a more accurate and less biased view of your relationship than you do. In fact, another early sign that your relationship is toxic is if your friends and family don't like your relationship. This seems obvious when you're not in the relationship, but when emotions are involved, many people suddenly find themselves ignoring the advice of the people around them.
My family doesn't know about this decision right now. I'm worried about how they're going to react when I tell them that I am married. They did have some doubts about our relationship.
And this rarely ends well.
What is the problem? I am coming back. I am coming back now.
Oh, gosh.
Here's another example where an 18-year-old girl is marrying a 27-year-old guy that she's been dating for less than a year. Reasonably, her friends have reservations about it, but she just ignores them.
So you're going to be married before your 1-year anniversary even comes up?
Yes, actually, yes.
That is crazy, Evelyn.
Maybe I should.
I never thought I would end up falling in love with a complete nerd. I can't believe it.
That's my girlfriend, Leanne. And that's me, David. Hi.
Ew.
Tuning out your loved ones can be dangerous when you're just in the early stages of a relationship. At the same time, you don't want to let other people decide how you live your life. So a good question to ask yourself is the person giving you advice someone you respect and someone who has had relationships you would want? If so, then that is a good sign to listen to their concerns. These strong external relationships are so helpful in preventing a toxic relationship, and sometimes people will proactively try to distance you from your friends and family. They know that if they can weaken these ties, they'll force you to be more dependent on them for love, and therefore more uncomfortable about the idea of breaking up with them and living without them. This can take many forms, but one common one is trying to stop you from going out at night without them.
They're concerned because they're like, well, I told them that you're not into, like, girls' night.
You want to go, that's not an option. You want to go, I want to go too.
Another warning sign is that they try to control who you text with, like this woman who tries to get this guy to stop texting any woman he's not related to.
Acting like everyone that is texting me is like bringing intimacy to me.
You're about to be married. You don't answer. Literally, you shouldn't be answering anyone but your family members.
No matter how you ended up here, whether it's because of infidelity or just insecurity, when you reach the point where one person can't trust the other to behave with integrity unless they're supervised, it's time to end the relationship. The restrictions will only get worse over time.
I definitely don't have good luck in finding faithful men. From this point on, you can't leave the house without telling me.
The reason people stay in relationships like this is actually the same whether you're the jealous partner obsessed with control or the restricted partner allowing yourself to be bullied. For both parties, they're not confident that they can find someone else they like who will be with them. This lack of confidence and self-esteem is a common factor in toxic relationships. I'll talk more about how to boost your confidence and self-esteem at the end of the video. Now, one big reason why friends and family might have a different opinion of your significant other than you do is because sometimes in toxic relationships, we see our significant others not as they are, but as we want them to be.
An early sign that you're projecting more onto your partner than they actually are is if you develop strong feelings before you know them. The most extreme example of this is love at first sight, like this woman falling in love from a dating profile.
I decided to go online to look for love, and that's where I met Jesse. For me, it was love at first sight.
This can seem romantic, and certainly being that infatuated feels amazing at the time, but it shows you've created an idea of someone and fallen in love with that invented version of them. We saw earlier how well that worked out for this guy.
You know, the day that I laid eyes on her was like beyond anything that I could have ever dreamed of.
If you feel yourself falling hard for someone in a relatively short period of time, that's fine. But it's important not to make any permanent decisions based on that infatuation. You just don't want to end up like this woman who wants to marry a man she's never even met.
I have never met John in person before. And I am hoping for a proposal.
This may seem like an extreme example, but situations like this actually play out all the time, whether it's eloping, moving in together, having a baby. This is especially dangerous because it's very common for toxic relationships to start well. In fact, a toxic partner will often make a better first impression than average because they wear more of a facade in the beginning of a relationship than most people do. Then once they know they have you hooked, their behavior gets worse.
8 months of this online relationship with Jennifer. We're finally here in Colombia together, but our first moments in person have been a little rough.
Now, almost all relationships involve some amount of fighting, but if you find your relationship is like a roller coaster with a lot of extreme highs and extreme lows, it's a good sign that it's a toxic relationship.
Yeah, I think we're gonna be fine. I mean, we fought a lot, but we established that that's us.
If you find that you've started to normalize things like fighting or constant breakups, then it's time to recognize your relationship may be built more on addiction and codependence than on happiness. You don't want to be describing your relationship like this.
It's been really difficult. Over the last few months, we make up and break up almost every day.
The biggest issue that leads to these toxic relationships is a lack of self-esteem and confidence. With true confidence, no one would behave this way or put up with this type of behavior. If something in this video has resonated with you, maybe you've seen these behaviors in yourself or in a past relationship, I highly recommend you check out Charisma University. It's our step-by-step guided program that's the fastest way I know of to build more confidence. It will also help you take your charisma to the next level, giving you more options in dating so that you won't be scared of winding up alone. Now, you can read all about the details in the link below, but I figured the best way to let you know what this is all about is just to let the members speak for themselves. So here are just a few of the things that CU members have written in via email or the course comments. The first one comes from a guy who saw major improvements in his social and dating life.
Hey, what's up? Doing some Monster Energy. I'm on 5th race and doing pretty well. Just,
I also went from having serious girl problems.
These jumps are annoying. They slow you down more than anything. Why? I thought the pump was so fast. Anyways, let's play. Yeah, let's go.
And took a defensive stance on social interactions. Now I am more confident in social
this is the end, and I won.
Anyone about anything. We'll have a good time, even if no one else is. And I'm more in control in interactions in my career and just happier. And this last one is from a woman who had just gotten back from a speaking tour. She says, last year I joined CU right before 2 public speaking events. Though I didn't do anything too terribly embarrassing while on stage, my lack of confidence was obvious to everyone in the room. Fast forward to this weekend, I owned the stage and spoke to over 2,000 business owners. It was so powerful that even my marketing assistant was completely lost for words. There are more success stories just like those in the comments if you decide to join the course. If you do join, it comes with a 60-day money-back guarantee, which is 100% for any reason at all. And it's 60 days, even though the course is only 30 days, because I want to make sure every single person truly feels like they're getting a ton from the course. Otherwise, you can just...
Hey, what's up? It's Robert here, and I want to give you 3 done-for-you campaigns that you can use right now to make over $1,000 a day or more. Does that sound good?
How's it going, bros? My name is PewDiePie. Oh my god, PewDiePie rigged! PewDiePie's so strong! This has basically been all over any form of social media. Oh my god! Ah! It's basically been plastered on my subreddit. They even had to close down the subreddit because people kept posting about it. This isn't the why, however. But 54,000 people want a workout review. So that's what we're going to do today. I wasn't planning to talk about it or make a video like this in a long time, at least, I don't know, 6 months, a year, for me to actually gain some muscle. I'm not ripped, okay? I'm just lean, or what? There's a difference. I feel like I still have a long way to go, but what happened was I was putting up some light outside. I was challenging Ceiling Gang, as you can see.
My workout routine, 100 tambourine hits a day, 100... Maisa came out and she was like, damn. So she snapped a photo of me, and then we both looked at it like, what the Even I was shocked. I hadn't even worked out that day. It's not like I was pumped up or anything. So she shared it on her social media because, you know, it's lame if I share it. And goddamn, people freaked out. Did not expect that. I guess since people I've always been very skinny for a very long time, and people also always see me like that, so you gain any form of muscle, and people are like, what? Yeah, this is me before. Yep. Oh yeah, there it is. I'm glad that photo exists. And yeah, this is me now, I guess. At the end of the montage. I need a couple more montages. Come on. I even saw people online debating if I'm using roids or any sort of supplements. It's like, I don't even know what they're talking about. I don't even know what it means. I'm not that strong. And other people are just going like, he's super rich. He's got like a super good trainer pumping him every day, and he's got like this insane gym at home. He can afford it. So I thought, why don't I just start off by showing what my gym looks like. Welcome, and here's my gym setup. Egger spots me. Thank you very much for doing that. So basically, it's just this, what is it called, bench? It's garbage. It's so bad. It's so wonky. I swear to God, I feel like if I ever die, it's because this thing collapses on me. Half the time, the screws are coming off, and I have to keep screwing them in, so it doesn't fold. Nay, Egger, nay. These are super nifty. And the way they work is that you can very quickly change each weight that you want. You want 30, 40, 60, 50, 70. It goes up to 90 actually. I have 90 here, that's why. And even 10 without anything. So if I want 30, bam, lift up, ready to go. And that's why I have this wrist protection, because if... Looks complicated, right? Hits my wrist sometimes, and it hurts a lot, so I got these. I actually recommend it if you're using these. Plus you feel more badass somehow. I don't know why. It does have a problem, which is that if I want to make a jump, it's a high jump to go from 80 to 90 pounds. That's from 36 kilos to 41 instead of going from 36 kilos to maybe 38 or 39. It takes me a lot longer to jump in weight, basically. That's the problem I have with these. But it saves you a lot of money and a lot of space to not have a whole rack with dumbbells, which would be nice. I should probably get that, but these are cheaper. I also have these, which are good for, it's good for extra grit when you're doing pull exercises. They're okay. They're not that great. It's just very frustrating. Hey gang, I'm filming. It's just very frustrating when you're trying to hit a weight and you know you can do it, but you're losing grip. I hate that so much, so these help. And that's pretty much it. I put my workout journal. I'm careful what to show here, because sometimes I get angry and I write down a bunch of shit. Do it, pussy! So it's notes for me for the next week. I always go through what I did the previous week. So I'm like, yeah, next time do this, pussy. You wimp. Right arm weak. Very compared to left. Yeah, this was 2 weeks ago I hurt my arm. This is problem with dumbbells, and don't make the mistakes I made. Properly warm up. Make the right movements. If you get injured, you're out for 3 weeks at least. It takes that long for the muscles to recover. It's very easy to get damaged with dumbbells. I also hurt my back from lifting down the dumbbells, which is equally important. So if you're working out with dumbbells, be careful. I'm saying it to myself in the past. It's not worth it to get injured. Just take it slow. But yeah, I think it's cool. I like the idea that anyone can pick up this in their house. It's very small. It doesn't take up a lot of space, and it's fairly cost efficient. If you don't have access to a gym, this is a pretty good space, I would say. Gym is always better because you're gonna have machines and you're not gonna hurt yourself like I do, like a fucking idiot. That's my setup tour. I know my setup is, and I know I could get more, but I just really like the idea that I can move it anywhere. It feels very liberating to have that kind of setup, and you can 2016, I had never been to a gym before in my entire life, and I didn't know anything. I didn't know how to properly squat. I didn't know what reps meant. I didn't know what sets meant. But I wanted to try and get in shape, in better shape at least. So I kind of forced myself to go to a gym. I was terrified. I had no idea what to expect, and it was just the overconfidence in me just said, okay, you just go in there and just, how hard can it be? You just put up and down weights. Anyone can do that. Don't be me, basically what I'm saying. If you've never been to a gym before, ask a friend to introduce you, or even better, ask one of the personal trainers at the gym. There'll definitely be one, and they'll help you out. I keep seeing the sentiment that people that are maybe overweight or don't feel confident about their body or feel like they're going to be judged or something like that. That just couldn't be further from true. And I gotta say, the personal trainers that I've worked with have just been the most motivating and supportive people, because that's their job, you know. It's so definitely don't be scared to do that. And to just get started, a lot of gyms will offer one personal trainer for free. So it's 100% worth it. Absolutely. You need to know what you're doing going into a gym. So shortly after I switched gyms and I got started with a personal trainer, which was really good. He taught me how to really push myself, how to work out with dumbbells. Ironically, this was really good. The problem was that I didn't have a goal with my exercise. I just sort of went with it, which was a big mistake. And I knew, you know, at the back of my mind, I was working myself to the point where I was throwing up. You know, I was really I wasn't actually throwing up, but when you feel like, oh God, I cannot give anymore, which is common when you start off and you haven't worked out before. But in the back of my mind, I was like, there's no way I can maintain this for a longer time, you know? So lo and behold, I got sick. I got a stomach flu that was really bad, and it knocked me out for 2 to 3 weeks. And after that, I just never picked it up again. And any sort of progress that I've gained from those months at the gym, after a year, you know, I was still fit, but most of the gains were gone. And so I decided to myself, okay, I'll just set up a bench, I'll set up some dumbbells at home, and I can just work out from that, you know. And this time, I'm not going to make the same mistake. I'm just going to be consistent, and I'm not going to overdo it. So I did that for a year, this really measly workout, just to be consistent. Because, you know, I've been consistent on YouTube, and that's sort of been my success, so that can translate into exercise. And it just got to a point where I was fed up, and I wanted to really start pushing myself. And I did that 2 months ago, and that's when I really started to notice the big difference that you've seen in the photos today. And this is after reading a lot of books, reading a lot of philosophy. You guys know I'm a fan of Mishima, so if you know Mishima, that's pretty self-explanatory. For those who don't know, Mishima was an author that was absolutely ripped. He talked a lot about body and action, which is a message today that seems completely lost. And I read a bunch of other books as well that helped me develop my philosophy around exercise, which seems kind of cringy and like it doesn't match. No, work at it, that's for dummies, which couldn't be further from the truth. If anything, body and soul are deeply connected, and I wanted them to match, and that's why I really wanted to start pushing myself with my workout. I'm going to teach you how to make money from real estate without using your own money, credit, or experience, without actually buying any houses. And it's a strategy I call matchmaking. Essentially, it works like this. You got A, B, and C. That's the model. So your job is B, right? You're here. So let's say that's you. You're looking for sellers. You're going to... So this time, I had a clear goal what I was getting into. So I just needed to push myself this time. But how? I don't have a personal trainer anymore. So I sort of became my own personal trainer. I knew which workout that was needed to be done. I just didn't know how to not slack off, because it's easy to slack off when you work out on your own. It's totally possible to work out on your own, but it's always better with a trainer or a friend or with someone else. So I started tracking down my training. I wrote down in a journal, which you saw earlier, my reps, my sets, the weights, and how much rest time I would keep, and I would really try and push myself each time to make sure I was making progress. In retrospect, I don't think that was the most important thing to do. The most important thing is to really do it until you fail. Like you can't push any longer. That should be the goal instead, but it worked out for me. So my workout routine, finally we got to it. I'm sorry for so much talking. So Mondays, I do push exercises. I do chest, heavily on chest. Everyone keeps making fun of my chest in the photo, but it looks better in person. Trust me, it's massive. I got huge titties, and then I finish off with shoulders. I don't remember it in my head, but it's something like that. And then Tuesdays I do leg, squats, deadlifts, yada yada, lunges. And then Wednesday I do pull exercises. Then Thursday I do leg again, and then Friday I finish with a mix of push and pull. I know there's other variations of this sort of workout that are more efficient, and I'm probably going to change my workout pretty soon. But it worked out for me so far. I literally just Googled online like 5-day dumbbell workout. You could probably find it yourself and follow it. So, or maybe I'll leave a link to it in the description if you want to try what I did. The most important thing is to really push yourself until you fail. But the next thing, which is very important, and people always say that it's important, but then they just ignore it anyway. But it is equally important because when you're lifting weight, you're only burning so many calories, no matter how heavy of an exercise. You don't really lose weight lifting weights, ironically. You have to change your diet if you want to lose body fat. And probably the biggest difference for me was cutting out alcohol, which is something I talked about before. I'd say maybe a year ago, I quit alcohol for the first time. As you guys know, I like my whiskey too much. I like my whiskey too much, which was not healthy. I didn't feel good about it, so I quit alcohol completely, and I did that for a couple months, and I felt, hey, great, I can actually do this. But then afterwards, I just fell back into my old habits, and I felt shitty and terrible about it, like I was slowly killing myself. It's great. So I basically made the same mistake I did with my workout as I did with my eating, or drinking, rather. And there is obviously a lot of calories in drinking. That's not the reason I quit, but it helps to have another reason to quit it. I decided to just cut off hard liquor from my palate. I just realized it's not for me. If other people like it, that's great. No, I'm not doing it. Never again. I do drink maybe like a pint of beer once a week if I'm hanging out with friends online or whatever. I drink socially, basically, is what I'm saying. The Stoicism talk about how it's important to let your spirit loose. And I kind of agree with that. I think the problem was before when I quit drinking is that I was too strict on it. I didn't want to be that person in the friend group. And I think this way I'm just going to be able to stick with it. And honestly, quitting drinking, it was hard. It was a habit that I had developed. And like, you probably have some food or some craving that you really feel strongly about. Maybe you don't realize that you're addicted to it, but once you cut it out of your diet, that's when you realize that you are addicted to it. And you sort of, just like you train yourself to like that food and depend on that food, you have to train yourself to not be dependent on it. And that's really tough in the beginning. But once you get out of it, you gain a whole different perspective. And even me looking back on my old drinking habits, I really look back on it with detest and the shame of my past self. You have to realize that sensational pleasures don't bring happiness. And as soon as you take that first bite, it's already fleeting. It's not going to make you happy. And I feel like there's almost a social idea that you need food to be happy. Oh, I need these food because they make me happy or whatever, which isn't true. And recently there was a comedian, Kumail Nanjiani, who got really, really ripped for a Marvel role. And it's really impressive. Jesus Christ, those veins, bro. And I saw he went on the Kimmel show, and they had prepared this, funny idea where, okay, so you reach your goal, now we're going to set you up with a bunch of cakes and a bunch of pizzas.
I cannot wait. We have something special for you. Please go ahead and be careful. Your head is...
Hey, I'm a Korean immigrant, and I got to retire my mother at the age of 24. And today, I invited her over so I can surprise her with $10,000 in cash. So she thinks that she's getting interviewed right now, but I'm going to surprise her with the $10,000 in cash right here. But you need to hide it, so let's go.
reinforces it at the very least. It doesn't state it necessarily.
You don't know. My wife was in a coma and we didn't know what was going to happen, and I remember very specifically the day we were like, is she going to make it? Is she going to make it? And I remember when I got to the hospital one of those days and went in and she was up and sitting on her bed. I'm happier right now.
Sorry that this video just became me ranting about different topics. Hopefully it is helpful for people to understand my mindset, because I really think mindset is one of the most important things if you want to work out. You can obviously, anyone can pick up working out for a little while, but unless you have the right mindset, you're not going to be able to be consistently pushing yourself for it. One of the best things I've done out of all of these, and the change of my life that I'm the most happy about, is I looked up how much protein I needed. You can do this as well. I'll link a website down below. So you can put in your weight, you can put in your height, and then you can put in how much you work out, and then it tells you, okay, well, this is roughly what your daily protein intake should be. And mine was just way off. So I started just stopping myself with a bunch of protein snacks, protein bars, nuts that have a lot of protein. It's not as great, but if you want something savory, it's good. This was life-changing for me because I used to struggle a lot with anger. I talked about actually in my stoicism video about anger, and I had made the habit of being very angry often and very confrontational and aggressive. At first I liked that part of myself because I thought, oh, this is another sort of image of a man, kind of like whiskey is seen as manly. It's society looks at anger a lot of ways as something manly as well, and I think recognizing these things as just that, and I started meditating on it a lot, and I was able to control my anger much better. Stoicism really helped with that as well, but I would still feel it. I would still feel that anger even though I didn't act on it the same way I used to. I would feel happy and I would feel virtuous by the fact that I wasn't acting on my anger anymore, but I wasn't my happy self that I would normally used to be, as much as I would like to at least. But protein makes you so much fuller, and it doesn't make at least for me, my blood sugar spike as much. So that problem for me, which was a big problem, just completely disappeared just by me trying to eat more protein. So I'm so happy I made that change. It wasn't intentional, but it's just something that just worked out really well for me, I guess. Last thing, working out will not solve all your problems. It will not fix any sort of issues.
If you give me 45 seconds, I'm going to show you how Kevin made $12,000 in 6 days using a silly little email, selling stuff he doesn't even do, with no experience, skills, or knowledge, nothing but an internet connection, and it's really quite simple. All it is connecting freelancers with clients who need their services via email, LinkedIn, Instagram, and a bunch of other methods you can do for free. Kevin made $12,000 in just a single easy sale working from home, and all these people got results copying the strategy he used. And we're actually holding a free training today where you're going to learn the step-by-step, 3-step process we use to build a new online business and make $12,000 in 6 days. All you need to do to join is click the button somewhere around this video to attend. Now, while I don't guarantee those results, it depends on you to implement it right, I can guarantee you, we'll show you step by step exactly how we get these results in this training. And look, you may be skeptical, and that's fine. You shouldn't listen to a random guy yelling at you on a YouTube ad, but look at the screen here. You can see some of the live PayPal accounts of these businesses and watch the sales flowing in. These are the types of results we've achieved, our students have achieved, and we're going to show you how we achieve them in this free training. So I recommend signing up, click the button somewhere around this video and sign up for the free training. I'll see you in there. We're actually going to give you a free email template we've used at the end of the training to drive hundreds of thousands of dollars, as well as a lot of my awesome jokes that are in training exclusive. You're going to learn how we do all of this with no skills, no experience, without delivering anything ourselves, without talking to anyone. And better yet, we start getting these sales for free, and then we scale up with ads later. I'll see you inside. Cheers.
what's up? It's Robbie here, and I want to give you 3 done-for-you campaigns that you can use right now to make over $1,000 a day or more. Does that sound good? Well, guys, it's going to happen, right? And the way that you get those 3 done-for-you campaigns is by jumping to Commission Hero with my birthday special. So, guys, this month, I'm turning 34 years old, which is crazy to think about, because 5 short years ago, I was a struggling personal trainer and gym owner. I had no online business, but I always wanted to have success, right? And because I've been able to achieve the success that I've had, I've been able to help out over 5,000 students this year alone. I wanted to celebrate, and I want to celebrate and help even more people out. That's my passion in life, is helping more.
Obviously, many reasons to work out that are very positive. You'll look better, you'll feel more confident, you'll be more healthy. But these are obviously degenerate reasons to work out. You exercise. You lift weights for Mishima, okay? You lift weights for Homer. You lift weights to escape abstract concepts like time and death. That's the only acceptable reasons. And just lastly, if you feel good about yourself already, there's no shame. Whatever size or shape you are, I don't care, alright? If you feel good about yourself, great, excellent. This is not a video to make it like you have to be like this, or you have to have this mindset to be happy. This is just something that worked for me, and I'm very happy about it. And it's been really motivational as well to see so many support around it. I think that's great, and I really appreciate it. I really feel like gym bros are the most supported people out there. So yeah, this is my progress so far. Maybe in a year I'll make another video more in-depth on my workout once I actually know how to do it properly. I don't want to spread misinformation and stuff like that, but I feel confident in what I said today at least. So yeah, thanks for watching. Brofist.
So I'm about 2/3 of the way through the campaign, and these others are killing me, but I'm getting through it. The Las Vegas arena right now. Hoping this one isn't too long. Loading 99, 99, and 100 soon. I don't like games that just stuck at 99%. That's annoying. Alright. I've been trying to get these hole shots, but it's like impossible because I back up, I wait, I blast. No, usually I blast through, and then the left half pass me anyway, even though I get a good start. So I don't know what to do. Trying to get the hole shot stuff. Ooh, that was a wreck. Ooh, bounce with me, Mama, uh-oh. Oh, I'm popping the knot. Bounce with me. Oh, this is nice. There's no big consecutive jumps. You can just do one big jump and just ride. That's awesome. I love this track. Woohoo! That's fun. I'm gonna fling around here. Oh shit! I'm gonna rewind that for a second. That didn't go as planned. There. Ooh, that was nice. See what a good rewind can do for you? One big jump. I'm on automatic, and it's not going past the 3rd gear. I'm in first, and it's only the first lap. Wait, is this a timed event? The time's going down at the top. Oh, shit. They are right behind me. Shit. Okay, I'm rewinding that again. Hey, what's up? Just doing some races. And of course about landslide. It's kind of surprising when I do that because these computers can be quite annoying. Hey, what's up? Doing my second championship in the 250 West, and this is my third race. I just upgraded my character so he has almost full top speed. It's pretty cool. I'm listening to some meditation music, so I'm just relaxing, just racing around, waiting on loading screens for the most part. It'll go fast, then it'll go slow, and then it'll go to 99%. We'll stay it there. Last man standing.
Jonathan from Ireland who works no more than 2 hours a day in his bedroom. Look how well he's doing. Here's Ted from Korea and he doesn't speak English. Doing 1K a day is life-changing for him. These guys have one thing in common.
PlayStation Plus June 2020's Instant Game Collection has been announced. I also got information about the PlayStation 4 system software update 7.51 and other gaming news, so make sure you guys stay tuned. What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Monkey Flop here, and today I got your gaming news, baby. If you guys do enjoy these videos, make sure to hit a like, comment down below, support your boy. If you guys are new, subscribe with those bell notifications turned on. Let's go ahead and get right into it, because the PlayStation Plus June 2020's Instant Game Collection has been officially announced. First game up on the list, you probably already know, Call of Duty World War II. That is the first title on the list, and it's already available to download now. I'd love to know you guys' experience with it so far. Some people are like, the game is garbage. Other people are like, it's pretty cool. I like the story mode. So I'd love to know your guys' experience with it so far. What are you guys currently playing? If you even have downloaded it yet, are you planning to download it? Let me know in those comments down below. Next up, we got Star Wars Battlefront 2, and well, this game, I mean, I'm a Star Wars fan. You guys will notice like a bunch of different things Star Wars in the background. I'm a big Star Wars fan, and this will be a biased opinion, not unbiased, because I'm a Star Wars fan. I really liked the story mode. Now, other people's complaints is it's a little predictable, good versus evil, things like that, and I totally get that. But at the same time, if you're a Star Wars fan, you're probably going to really like it, especially the multiplayer. The multiplayer is honestly where it's at. This game was actually doomed before it got released, because I don't know if you guys remember the crazy microtransactions that they added in the game. They've kind of reversed all of that because it gave a lot of people a bad taste in their mouth. It honestly got the internet up in arms, which was good because the community, the gaming community spoke out against it, and they had no other choice but to fix it and remove a lot of those crazy microtransactions. So you really don't have to worry about much of that. There are still a lot of microtransactions. I got a couple of friends that spend a lot of money on the game because they enjoy it, but most of the things are cosmetic and not really like game-altering transactions that you would have to do. So I would say jump into multiplayer, see if it's your cup of tea, try the campaign mode out as well, see if the story is, something that you would be into, something that you would dig. PlayStation Plus June 2020's Instant Game Collection will be released on June 2nd. Of course, Call of Duty is already available. Star Wars Battlefront 2 releases on June 2nd. Next up, let's go ahead and talk about the PlayStation 4 7.51 update, because oh my gosh, it got released yesterday. So many people had issues, including myself. My PlayStation 4 Pro was so laggy, so slow. My Slim has been just pretty much the same. I was really concerned about updating my PlayStation 4 original console, the one that I bought when the PlayStation 4 launched. I did that today, and I haven't had any issues whatsoever, so I wanted to give you guys an update just in case you guys were wondering or kind of curious. For me, I haven't had any issues with the original PlayStation 4. The PlayStation 4 Pro is still kind of running a little bit slow, but all in all, things are looking good. So I want to say it's safe to download, but do it at your own risk, because there's going to be that 1% of gamers that download it and something crazy happens. It always happens to at least 1 or 2 people that watch the video, and it's honestly unfortunate. So do it at your own risk, but you should be able to do it with no problems. Next up, let's go ahead and talk about The Last of Us 2, because holy cow, what an amazing state of play. To be completely honest with you guys, there was so much information about The Last of Us 2. There were so many things shown off about The Last of Us 2, it got me really excited. One thing that honestly stood out to not only me, but the rest of the internet, was the fact that PlayStation Vita was featured. One of my favorite memes was this one right here. You guys can read it for yourselves. But this was honestly hilarious. I loved it. And I love You know, the little things that they do with the Vita, even if it's not that much. Alright, the last thing that I actually wanted to talk about was the PlayStation 5 reveal event that's happening on June 3rd, supposedly. Now, take it as rumor and speculation, but a lot of industry insiders have been saying for about a week that June 30th is the date that Sony's going to be presenting something about the PlayStation 5. In my best guess, it would be gameplay. We're probably not going to see the box. That's probably going to be at a later time, but who knows? They might surprise us and show us the box and gameplay. The interesting odd thing about it is that Sony and PlayStation have decided to do it on June 3rd, knowing that Sega is planning on doing something and announcing something on June 4th. And honestly, last night I couldn't even sleep because I was thinking so much about this. And I wanted to pass a question off to you. What do you think that Sega has in store? What do you think Sega's big announcement is going to be? Sure, some people are speculating that they're going to come back into the consoles. I don't know if that's true. Other people are speculating that, Sony has bought Sega, but then why wouldn't it be on June 3rd? Why would it be on June 4th? And then other people are speculating that it's because Microsoft bought Sega. There's so much speculation about it. There has to be something big, not just like a game announcement from Sega, because with all the hype built up, I'm sure if it was, a crazy awesome game, that would be cool. But with all the hype built up around it, I'm expecting something bigger from Sega. So, especially with Sony doing theirs a day before, it kind of feels like Sony wants to draw the attention of them and away from Sega. So, yeah, what do you guys think? Let me know in those comments down below. Alright, the last thing that I actually wanted to talk about was my arm. A lot of you guys have had questions about what happened to my arm. You see me in a sling. I had a motorcycle accident. I'm not going to go into too many details. I uploaded a full video. I'll link it to you guys in an eye above the card. But basically, went down on my motorcycle, had surgery, and have been in recovery for like a month and a half. I finally had physical therapy today. That's why this video is going out a little bit later. But it's all good. Doing baby steps of little exercises. I'm going to be going to physical therapy once a week. I'm going to go see my orthopedic doctor next week, get x-rays and see how everything's healing up. But if you guys wanted to see, if you guys don't like scars or anything, you might want to skip ahead like 10 seconds of the video. But if you guys wanted to see what the scar looks like, that's pretty much it. It's healing up really well. I had 20 staples in it. But yeah, they repaired my rotor cuff and the broken bone. The broken bone was like completely broken up here, and pieces of it were like kind of like jammed up in here. So they removed all that, gave me partially a brand new bone and surgery, and I'm able to move it a little bit, but I'm not allowed to move it a lot. And I'm able to relax it out of the sling just for a little while, but then I have to go back in. But yeah, I wanted to give you guys an update. I'm healing really well. Thank you guys all so much for the comments, questions, concerns about my arm. I appreciate you guys. I'll give you an update as I progress and as I get better, but every day has been honestly better.
My name is Igor Kayfetz, and this week I'm hosting a free workshop where I'm going to show you
If we want to change our lives, we're often told that we need to think big, make drastic changes, or perhaps even move across continents. But what if we could achieve major transformations just through small tweaks to our daily routines? We all tend to overestimate the importance of single actions and underestimate the power of making small improvements repetitively over a longer period of time. Real change comes from the compound effects of hundreds of small decisions or small habits that, over time, accumulate to produce remarkable results, changing our lifestyles, behaviors, and identities. Hey friends, welcome back to the channel and to the second episode of Book Club, a new series where I summarize the key insights and ideas from some of my favorite books. And today we're talking about Atomic Habits by James Clear, which is all about the power and process of building good habits and breaking bad ones. Through examples from sports, business, and education, along with evidence from psychology and neuroscience, the book explains the science and practical implications of how tiny habits and minuscule changes can grow into life-altering outcomes and help us lead healthier, happier, and more productive lives. So there's basically 4 key insights from this book that we're going to talk about in turn. Firstly, we'll talk about the power of 1% changes over time. Secondly, why we should screw goals and focus on systems instead. Thirdly, why it's all about identities rather than outcomes. And finally, we'll look at what our boy James calls the 4 fundamental laws of behavior change. So firstly, why does 1% matter? Well, it's all about the power of compounding. Compounding can be amazingly powerful, both positively and negatively, if we leave it to develop over a period of time. If we can get 1% better each day for a year, we'll end up 37 times better by the time we're done. But if we get 1% worse each day for 1 year, we'll go down nearly to 0. As James says in his book, habits are the compound interest of self-improvement. Habits don't seem to make much difference on a given day, but the impact over months or years can be absolutely enormous. We don't often think about these small changes just because it takes so long to see the result. Like, this is something that I really struggle with. And I think this probably applies to everyone. Like, we're so attuned in modern society to try and seek instant gratification that it's actually really hard to focus on things that have long-term benefits. Equally, the slow rate of transformation also means that it's really easy to let bad habits creep in, like eating badly and not exercising. And when we repeat these 1% errors day after day, they'll accumulate into larger problems. As James says in the book, time magnifies the margin between success and failure. It will multiply whatever you feed it. Good habits make time your ally, bad habits make time your enemy. Now, one of the other key points from our boy James's analysis of habits is what he calls the plateau of latent potential, which sounds all very fancy. Habits often don't seem to make a difference until we cross a critical threshold. We expect progress to be linear, but the key aspect of any compounding process is that the outcomes are delayed. This leads to an initial valley of disappointment, where we don't feel like we're making progress, as the results don't follow the linear trajectory that we expect. And so we just give up because we're not getting the results we wanted. But as we can see from the graph, it does take time to build a habit to allow the compound interest of self-improvement to kind of take hold and give us amazing results over time. Key point number 2 from the book is to screw goals and focus on systems instead. James identifies 4 main problems with goal setting. Firstly, winners and losers have the same goals. Every Olympian wants the gold medal, every candidate wants the job, and so it can't be the goal that actually differentiates people. Secondly, achieving a goal is only a momentary change. Sure, I might be able to pluck up the activation energy to kind of break myself to clean my room, but if I continue my waste man habits and systems that led to the room getting messy in the first place, I'm just going to be left with a messy room again in a few days' time. In the same way, when we achieve a goal, we only change our life for the moment. We get these temporary results. Instead, what we really need to change is the systems that caused those results in the first place. Thirdly, James argues that goals restrict our happiness. There's an implicit assumption behind any goal, and that's once I reach my goal, then I'll be happy. And so we end up continuously putting off happiness until the next milestone. Finally, goals are at odds with long-term progress. There's another really nice quote here. The purpose of setting goals is to win the game. The purpose of building systems is to continue playing the game. Like for me, with this YouTube channel, I deliberately don't have any goals for it because, like, what's the point? I mean, I might say to myself, oh, it would be, my goal is to hit 1 million subscribers by next year or whatever. But I'm not trying to win YouTube by hitting a certain subscriber count. I just love the process of making these videos, and it's fun, and it's great, and it makes money, and it's sustainable. And it's just, I want to continue playing the game. I don't want to try to win the game.
There's this idea between the system and the goal. And, like say you're playing a sport. In every sport, the goal is to have the best score on the scoreboard at the end of the game. But it would be ridiculous to spend all game looking at the scoreboard because it wouldn't help you in any way. So, in fact, if you just ignored the score the entire time and just focused on a better process or playing a better way or a better scheme or strategy, then you probably would end up with the best score. I think Bill Walsh, he was the Super Bowl winning head coach for the San Francisco 49ers, he had
seen why systems are so important. Key point number 3 is another quote from the book, and that is, identity change is the North Star of habit change. We've got outcomes on the outside concerned with changing the results, and then processes related to our habits and systems, and finally our identity, which is related to our beliefs. Most of us work from outcome to identity rather than identity to outcome, but as our boy James says, the ultimate form of intrinsic motivation is when a habit becomes part of our identity. When we solve problems in terms of outcomes and results, we only solve them temporarily. But to solve problems in the longer term, at the systems level, we need to change our identity. This point really resonated with me when I first read the book. Like, I've been struggling personally with A, eating healthily, and B, going to the gym for the last several years. And before, I used to have an outcomes-based way of looking at it. So I used to think, I want to get rid of my belly fat. Therefore, I'm going to follow Tim Ferriss's low-carb diet. Therefore, I'll be a healthy person. But since reading the book, I now have more of a identity-based approach to looking at this. So I think, like, I try to think in my head, I am a healthy person. Therefore, as a healthy person, I will eat wholesome food and exercise regularly. And then one day, maybe I'll look like Zac Efron. We'll see how that goes. And finally, point number 4, at this point we're thinking, okay, cool, I'm sold on the idea of building useful habits, I'm sold on the idea that it's all about tiny improvements over a very long time, and it's all about systems rather than goals. But how do we actually build those habits in the first place? How do we overcome the difficulty? Well, I'm glad you asked, because we can actually split up the process of building habits into 4 stages: cue, craving, response, and reward. The cue triggers the brain to initiate an action. The craving provides the motivational force. The response is the action or habit that we perform, and the reward is the end goal. And it's these 4 things, cue, craving, response, and reward, which lead to what James Clear calls the 4 laws of behavior change. The first law is make it obvious, and it relates to designing our environment around our cues. I applied this to my life just the other day, actually. So for the last year plus, I've been taking a tablet called finasteride to combat my hair loss. And in fact, people have been commenting in the videos that, oh, your hair looks thicker. So thank you. But recently I realized I was vitamin D deficient as well, because I spent way too much time in front of a computer and don't ever leave the house. And so I got these vitamins and see them in front of my finasteride, and therefore I take both tablets every night. So just a little change that has now built that habit almost immediately. Kind of the principle of environment in general.
West Championship. And imagine the cumulative impact of living in an environment that exposes you to the cues of your positive habits and reduces the cues of your negative habits. It's kind of like you're just gently being nudged in the right direction each day. But the second law is make it attractive, which relates to the craving aspect of the habit loop and tries to take advantage of what we know about dopamine. As humans, we're all motivated by the anticipation of reward, so making habits attractive will help us stick to them. And in fact, one of the make it attractive things that I did before going to the gym is that I started listening to fantasy audiobooks on Audible, and this would be the perfect time to do an Audible plug, but sadly no one is sponsoring this video, so I hope you enjoy this ad-free experience.
The third law is make it easy, and the main aim here is to reduce the friction and to prime our environment for the habits that we'd like to develop.
There's a phrase that I like that I think I came up with, but I probably actually read it somewhere and then just forgot to cite the source. Anyway, the phrase is that friction is the most powerful force in the universe. I've seen this so many times in my own life, like anything I can do to reduce the friction, to make doing a good thing slightly easier, will pay dividends in the long run. Like having a piano right next to me, having a guitar next to my desk, means that my default procrastination when I can't be bothered to do any work or film a video, is that I will play the guitar or practice some stuff on the piano. Like reducing the friction makes it far more likely for me to do the thing.
And the fourth law is make it immediately satisfying. Our brains have evolved to prioritize immediate rewards over delayed rewards, and the cardinal rule of behavior change is what is immediately rewarded is repeated, and what is immediately punished is avoided. We get short-term bursts of dopamine from going through the McDonald's drive-thru or scrolling aimlessly through Instagram, making us more likely to repeat these bad habits. To develop better habits, James says that we should try to attach some form of immediate gratification so that we can make the habit immediately satisfying.
After reading the book, I realized that I needed to make this going to the gym thing more immediately satisfying. Sometimes if I'm going to the gym after work, I'll do my workout and then I will jump in the swimming pool, do like a length or two just for fun, and then go into the spa and just kind of read a book for like 20 minutes. And this sounds really privileged and spoiled, but like the fact that I've got those activities lined up after going to the gym makes the whole process of going to the gym more immediately satisfying, which means I'm far more likely to do it. So by combining these laws and their opposites, we've got this diagram that comes from the book. We want to ensure that our good habits are positioned towards the left side of the spectrum to make them obvious, attractive, easy, and satisfying. And we want to work to make our bad habits more difficult by making the cues invisible, the action unattractive and hard, and the reward
own habits or plan for long-term change when we start a new regime like going to the gym. The great power of Atomic Habits is the emphasis that it places on systems rather than goals, identity rather than outcomes, and small habits rather than drastic change. There isn't a precise answer to how long it takes to build a habit, because habits are not a finish line to cross, but a lifestyle to live. The key part to remember is that small habits compound. Atomic Habits may be individually small, but collectively and given time, they can hold remarkable power to bring remarkable change to our lives. Thank you so much for watching.
The reason that I do what I do is to help other people realize that they have more inside of them than they maybe give themselves credit for. Like, they're not stuck. They don't have to settle.
Money doesn't have to be from a salary. It can come from people that actually change their lives by choosing to work with you. And it's so much more fulfilling.
Coming out of law school, I had this mindset that I need to like look professional, act professional, quote unquote professional, whatever that means. None of my ideal clients give how I'm presenting myself. They want help from people who know what they're talking about, understand their business, and can explain it to them in words that they understand. I'm not a rocket scientist. There's a lot of people smarter than me. I think one thing I've just developed is a muscle to just keep trying things and keep going and keep going and keep going. I'm not afraid of failure. Like, anytime something fails, it's not failure, it's just feedback.
After 16 years of teaching people how to build email businesses, I finally wrote a book called The Email Edge. It's all about how to get your business off the ground, literally using nothing but an email address, your email address, and other people's products and services. Affiliate marketing. You don't have to do any of your own products. You don't have to hire people. You don't have to build a staff. You don't have to build websites. You don't have to do all this crazy stuff. And I've been teaching this for over 16 years. Listen, I want to give you this book for free. The Email Edge. It will be life-changing, especially kind of in the current economic climate that we're in. I want to be able to see if this book can actually get you to open your mind about some passive income you could be generating. So here's what I want you to do right now. I want you to click the link above or below this video. I want you to click the link. I want you to go to the next page. I've got a free masterclass I'm running, a completely free masterclass where if you sign up and show up, if you show up to the masterclass, at the end my gift to you is this book, The Email Edge. Absolutely free. You get a download of it, no shipping, no handling. You get to read it right away. But here's the cool part. If you click above or below right now and go sign up for the free workshop, I'm also going to give you some amazing free training before the workshop even begins, so you can start to see how you can turn something as simple as an email address into a full-blown passive business with no product, no service, using only affiliate marketing, other people's products.
Hey,
it's really awesome. You're going to love this. So right now, all you need to do, step 1, click above or below. Go to the next page. Step 2, save your seat. First name, email. Step number 3, mark your calendar. Make sure you are there live on this masterclass. This is Onyx Segal reminding you, when life pushes you, stand straight,
yeah,
smile,
it's up to you whether we want to do it. We're going to do a calls on Fern Creek.
I need you to click right now. Go over there. I can't wait to see you on the live masterclass. And I cannot wait to get you this book, The Email Edge, in your hands.
Oh, there's one
at
press
the end of the masterclass. This is Onyx. Talk to you later.
Alright. Yeah, we'll get something to eat. Okay. Alright, bye.
Welcome back to the Ground Up Show. This week, all about habit change. My guest, James Clear, is the author of Atomic Habits. And on the podcast, he breaks down the myths of setting goals, how decisive moments can change your day, and how systems can change.
What's up, homie? My brother, my sister, whatever you may be, my brister. Your jeans are a little a little confused. So, it's my first YouTube video, so bear with me, y'all. Got my green juice here. And just loving it, man. So good, so good. So I figured I'd document here my journey a little bit for those who are wondering what a juice fast is like. Today marks my 47th day in a solid food vacation, aka juice feast, aka juice fast. A lot of people thought I'd be dead by now. I'm not even joking. A lot of people thought I'd be dead, but I'm alive and kicking. And I'm out here recording in good old nature, Mother Nature. Not gonna lie, it feels pretty good, you know, recording out here in nature. It's nice. It's different. It's nice. Feels good. So, well, the first week was a little rough, I'm not gonna lie. You know, adjusting to the liquid diet, not eating any food. It wasn't too bad either though, because I've been on the vegan path for a little while, so I've been, my body's been clean. I would presume, if you eat a lot of junk food, a lot of meat and things like that, it'll probably be a little bit tougher for you. But I also think that there's a lot of mentality going into it. There's the placebo effect and whatnot. If you go in thinking it's going to be hard, it will be hard. If you go in thinking it's going to be easy, then it's probably going to be easy for you. One of the things, I follow John Rose, so I follow his protocol. Thank you, my man. And doing it for several reasons. One of the reasons, obviously, is to clean out the body. And as far as I understand, basically we have two fluids in our body, and I'm getting all this from John Rose. I don't proclaim to know all these things. I'm no doctor, I'm no scientist, but I am a scientist in regards to my body and experimenting with it and seeing what works and what doesn't. Because ultimately, man, my thing is I want to be independent of what the hell the experts think, especially if you follow nutrition. I don't know if you guys know this, but one day one guy will say spinach is good for you, and the next day spinach is not good for you because it's got mycotoxins, and nobody agrees on anything. And the same person will come back a week later and tell you that, I was wrong about this, this stuff actually is bad because of this, and this. So it's like, why do we have to depend on other people's science, which may be skewed, to know what's good and what's bad? And how come animals, like if you feed a bird something, right away it pecks at it and it knows whether it's good for it or not, it knows right away, and every other animal seems to have that, but we humans are the only ones that have to look to a doctor to know if it's good for us or bad for us. We seem to have lost that sense. And from what I get from a lot of testimonials I've seen, the juice feasting seems to basically recalibrate your body and get your body back in line with that, your body and your mind, to where you become more intuitive about what foods are good for you, what's not. And after the juice feast, because you're so clean, once you start to break the fast and you start to add other foods in, you already know what your stool looks like. You already know what it feels like to digest something, how long it takes. So you can start to experiment more and more. You can try a different fruit or a different vegetable or a different whatever type of food. See how long it takes to go through your system, how you feel in the meantime. And obviously, if something's taking too long to go through the system, then it probably shouldn't be in there. And that's what John Rose made me realize, and that's what I liked about him. I liked his practicality with all this, where he made it, he made it very simple and something that you can test out for yourself, which no other nutritionist seem to talk about. Now, going back to the two fluids, basically we have the lymph system, we have our blood that basically feeds the cells. It brings all the food, all the energy to the cells, if you will. And then the lymph system is basically like the bathroom that takes all the waste matter out of the cells. And due to us being so plugged up, our colons are larger, more inflamed than they're supposed to be, with all kinds of things that aren't supposed to be there. Our intestines will swell and a lot of digestive tracts in our body. And what happens is that when you go on a juice feast, basically cleanses all of that out. It cleanses out the colon. It goes back to a normal, smaller size, and it becomes kind of like a vacuum, if you will, to suck up all the waste matter from the cells. Because what happens is when the lymph system is backed up and it's got so much waste matter in it that's plugged up, then what happens is the cells and their divine wisdom, whatever you want to call it, they don't release their waste matter out into the lymph system, because they know if the body dies, it dies as well. And so it just holds it. And then you get a lot of inflammation and disease, cancerous cells, all kinds of things. And again, if you want more information on all these things, I would highly recommend just follow John Rose, follow his YouTube channel, because he explains this all very well, and he seems to be the most knowledgeable nutritionist I know out there. And what I like about him is that he experiments with his own body. He hasn't been experimenting for years, and the guy's a mathematician, the guy's a scientist, and he tells you things straight up, and he's very practical with it. So I've been following this. I've been following the juice feast now for 47 days again. First week, like I said, a little bit rough, and then things just got better and better from there. I've been having far more energy. A lot of times these things are subtle, like you won't realize it until like you kind of look back and you're like, whoa. When I used to like hit the bag, like this is the real example for me. I box. I train in boxing and Wing Chun as well. And, when I hit the bag for a while and I'm hitting flurries, I used to get tired at a certain point. I know what that point is, and I was going past that point. Like now when I hit the bag, I have so much energy. I can just go on all day, it feels like. And I have more stamina. Even when I played basketball the other day, and, man, I was running back and forth because I like to think I play good defense, you know what I mean? So I'm running back and forth. It's a full court game, and I'm constantly running. Like I never stopped, I'm running the entire time, and I never got winded. And it wasn't even until afterwards I'm like, wow, how did that happen? Like I would normally get winded at some point, running back and forth down the court, and never did. It's almost like I feel like a freaking Superman or something. So that's cool, the energy, the clarity. I have so much more focus now. Like at work, I can concentrate a lot better when I do put my mind to it. And it sounds funny, but I even feel like I'm getting more intelligent or something. This is just another side. Another reason that I had gotten into the juice feast, and this again goes back to John Rose. He was the first one that spoke about biophotons and basically how cells communicate through light. And there's more and more studies going into this. And he believes that we basically lost our sixth sense due to the food that we're eating. And fruits and vegetables have the highest biophotons. And basically when you eat these things, or when you're only on these things, especially when you're on a juice fast, your biophoton levels go way up. And every living organism emits light. This is something that's like coming out more and more into the mainstream. More and more people are finding out about it. And I'm not going to lie, I'm sorry, John Rose, but when I first heard John Rose say this, talk about the biophotons, I thought it was like New Age mumbo-jumbo, to be honest. But I also follow Bulletproof Radio, which is another thing I'd recommend. Bulletproof Radio is pretty cool. And this guy is always bringing people that are at the forefront of their field. Scientists, doctors, people working with NASA, people working at the forefront of whatever endeavor they're in. So very credible people in their craft, masters of their craft, if you will. And he brought in several people that actually spoke on biophotons, people that were researching these things. So it is a real thing. And again, there's more and more studies being done on it, and it is measurable. And it is measurable, and And basically the Juice Feast makes your biophoton count go way up. So they basically correlated your biophoton levels, the amount that you have. The healthier you are, the more you have, the more vibrant you are. And when you have disease or anything like that, your biophoton level count go down. With Juice Feasting, it goes up. Again, just follow John Rose on that, or do your own research. You know, I don't proclaim to be a health expert or anything like that. I'm just speaking from my experience. And what I can say is that I definitely feel way more vibrant, way more connected to myself. I feel lighter. Like sometimes it's weird. Like it almost feels like I don't want to say levitating because that's a strong word, and I'm not really flying, obviously. But it's like I almost feel like that. Like I feel like floaty, like, you know, and the tension in my body a little, like, pretty much disappeared. Socially,
I just completed the 250 West, so now I've got to do the 450. This is awesome.
I dance as well.
I gotta check which trophy, which tracks I need to actually win.
I don't run out of energy, and I don't stop for a second.
I need to win.
So, you know, for those
Arlington, Minneapolis.
And, you know, you're gonna die or you're malnutrition.
Arlington, Minneapolis. I guess that's it.
I don't think you would be, malnutrition and yet have that much energy. You know, when you're sick, when you're malnutritioned or any type of defect that your body is having or any instability, it will reflect, you know, in your energy levels. You would feel, if you're sick, you feel sick, and so you respond, you know, in a sickly way, and you feel like you have to rest and lay down, and you don't feel good. I find it very difficult to find a case where someone is dying or feeling like shit, yet they have all this, you would not feeling like shit even though they're sick and dying. So that's my take. Now, you will lose weight, and especially if you're a skinny person like me, more than likely you'll lose weight. Now, John Rose, he says if you drink at least a gallon a day for most people, but if you're active and younger like I am, you really should be drinking around 2 gallons a day, or even more, depending on your circumstance. You really got to find out what your how many calories you're burning at a rested state, and all those things, which I really don't do. I try to drink like 1.5 gallons a day. That's what I've been doing, and it's been working pretty well for me. I did lose 10 pounds, but then it stabilized there. I haven't been losing any weight since then. I have gained like 1 pound or 2, and then it's gone down depending on like if I lift weights or not. Which now I haven't lifted weights in 2 weeks, which is kind of why I'm kind of deflated a bit. And that's another thing I noticed, that your body responds a lot quicker to things, to like its needs and whatnot. When I started lifting weights, I noticed an immediate reaction in my muscles. I get like really big pumps, and my body would respond like I've never seen it respond before when I used to lift weights. But then likewise, if I don't lift weights, I'm not doing any muscular workout, and especially if I'm dancing, I seem to deflate a little bit. So there is that. But one thing that I've noticed about all the skinny people that do these juice feeds, because I've seen another guy on YouTube that did it as well, and it looks like he looked like he lost a lot of weight. He got really skinny. But yet one thing that I noticed also with myself is that it seems to all be fat. Like it's not you don't seem to lose much, if any, of your muscle mass. So what happens is you get skinny, you shrink up, but you keep all the muscles. So it's like, you look kind of shredded. I mean, if you look at me, if I flex, I'm not trying to show off here, just kind of trying to show you. It's like I seem to have kept a lot of my muscle mass. And same thing with some of the other guys that I've seen, whereas I think if you be malnutrition, well, if you look at starving people, like they're just skinny, and they don't look shredded, they don't look healthy at all. Yet when I've seen these other people do it, even though they do look small, they still look healthy, and they still have a good proportion of muscle. muscle still in them. To the untrained eye, I think other people would still think they look unhealthy because as a society we become so sick, so fat, so big that like if anything skinny just looks unhealthy automatically to us. But to me, I see all that muscle percentage, the proportion of muscle that they seem to keep, and it looks healthy to me, even though it's small. So that's one of the concerns that I think many people may have. And then obviously if you're obese or you're higher on the weight size, then you don't even have to worry about that. You can just enjoy the benefits of weight loss. So trying to think what else. As far as the juices are concerned, John Rose says drink at least a gallon a day. You're definitely better off overdoing it than underdoing it. You'll never feel bad overdoing it. You're just going to get more nutrition and feel better. One thing that I've noticed, I used to, when I first started off, and the thing is, once you start off, you kind of start to pick up on a lot of things. So don't worry about having all the nuts and bolts, put together before you start. Just get started, and then with your own wisdom, you're going to find out things that work for you and whatnot. And so one of the things was I was doing like 3 big meals. So I drink a big juice in the morning. I drink a big juice at noon, at work during break. And then in the afternoon, evening time, I would drink another big jug. So like 3 meals. And I would notice that, I'd have these peaks of energy basically. And then I would come down, and in between the meals, I didn't feel as good, and I felt like a drop in energy levels and things like that. Now, then I noticed in one of other John Rose's videos, he talks about basically keeping your carbohydrate tank full at all times, and I was thinking of doing that as well. So I saw that and I was like, all right, let's do this. And what I started doing was I would just put them in little jars, and I would bring them with me all the time to work or whatever, put them in the fridge. And you want to top them off basically, which means like you keep filling it until it overfills. So then that way when you cap it, there's no air in it, so it doesn't spoil. And you want to try to drink them within 24 hours and storing them in small jars. And so what I do is I drink like a pint every hour and a half, 2 hours, or more, depending on how much I juice that day. And since I've been doing that, now I just experience like high energy levels the entire day. So the entire day I feel really good, and every day I've just been feeling better and better, cleaner, lighter. Again, I have even more stamina now. So I'm just looking forward to getting more and more of the benefits. I'm aiming for 92 days. I'm not sure yet how long I'll go with this fast. I may even have to edit some of this video because I noticed it's going a lot longer than I wanted it to. So maybe even on the description box, I'll have places you could skip to for different parts that you may want to listen to. So so you don't have to go through the whole thing. And so yeah, I may do 92 days. I'm not sure how long I'll go with the fast. Again, so far it's been 47 days. And they say, it depends for everybody, but around the days 70 or so is when you start to, when your system is clean and you start to poop juice. Because one thing I'll tell you right now, my stool smells like death. It smells like death, it smells, oh my God, it smells so bad. Which makes me think there's no way that this could be the juice. Vegetables and fruits don't smell that bad, so it must be clearing out my system. And so once you get to a certain level, you start to poop just the juice, and your poop, your shit starts not to stink, for lack of better term. So, which is pretty cool, you can walk around like your shit don't stink, for real though. And so it smells just like whatever you drank, whether it be fruits or vegetables. So I'm looking forward to getting to that point. If I get to that point, maybe I'll just do a week extra just to make sure everything's really out, and then I'll stop there. If not, I guess I'll go the whole 92 days. Not sure yet again. When I started this, I didn't really set a time date for how long I wanted to do it for, and that's helped me. So I just keep going day by day, and the fact that I know you have to go through a very strict process to break the fast is what keeps me from eating foods. So I'm pretty stuck on it until I decide to stop. So depending on what kind of person you are, like if you're the type of person that if you think about doing something and then you think that it's hard, then don't set a date for yourself. Just start going on the juice fast and just take it day by day. Now, if you're the type of person that like looking, setting a goal and achieving that like means everything to you and that motivates and strives you, then pick a time frame that you want to do, and then be loose about maybe adding more to it if you wish, just to make sure everything really does cleanse out properly. So that would be my advice to that. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Any other advice that I can give? Meditation has been better. Sleep has been better. I'm finally like waking up feeling well rested, which hasn't happened to me since college. Like I'm the type of person I can sleep straight. If I didn't know and I'm waking up doing it, I would sleep like 48 hours straight. I could. And now I'm waking up really early, and I feel good. I still feel well rested. So that's been interesting to see. The juicing process does take a while, so you do have to, get up a little early to get your juicing needs out the way. But then again, you don't have to cook food. You don't have to go out to eat or prepare food, or, like I said, buy food or be waiting in line and driving to places. So it's a little bit easier on that aspect as well. But I'm not gonna lie, it is time consuming, the juicing. That's really the only negative.
Your options are for today, bacon or shortcake. What would you like? Let's see what Jason chooses, everyone, on the next episode of Marie TV. Marie Forleo, and you are watching Marie TV, the place to be to create a business and a life that you love like this. And today, it's Q&A Tuesday. And today's question comes from Leah, and Leah writes, "Hi Marie, I love listening to you. It always makes me feel better and gives me inspiration to keep moving forward. However, lately I've had trouble staying positive. I'm almost 25 years old, and I got my bachelor's 2 years ago. I wanted to become a teacher, but I didn't feel ready, so I spent the past 2 years in different jobs relating to children, and now I feel I have the experience and confidence I was lacking back when I graduated. However, now I'm trying to go back to school, and I'm having trouble passing some tests. And I see classmates who are traveling, getting married, and most importantly, getting jobs doing what I want to do. It makes me wonder if I made the right choice and if I'm really behind on where I should be at life right now. I can't help feeling empty, desperate, and hopeless. I really need to know how to help myself and make improvements in my life without feeling jealous of other people's paths. Hope you can help. Thank you, Leah." Great question, Leah. Nearly every person I know has struggled with this. I mean, for me, that feeling of I should be further ahead by now totally dominated my early 20s. I was in constant angst, and it was really painful. And in my work, I've heard the same struggle from people in their 30s and their 40s and their 50s and 60s and 70s, etc. I believe this is a sickness that we human beings have, and if you don't get a handle on this thing right now, you will continue to feel empty and desperate and hopeless no matter what you do or no matter what you achieve. Now, the good news is that there are only 2 things that you need to do in order to heal yourself from this sickness. And it's important to note that these are not one-time actions, my dear. These are conscious choices that you have to make each and every single day. Otherwise, you're going to slip right back into that same old funk that you're in now, and we can't have that. So let's dive in. Number 1, I want you to adore your detours. So what does that mean? You gotta ask yourself, have you ever taken a road trip? Probably so. Sometimes you don't get to your destination at the time that you thought you would because you took a little detour. Maybe you decided at the last minute, you know what, we want to take the scenic route. Or you decide to stop for lunch and you discover this adorable little town that you would have never seen if you stayed on the highway. My point is, detours aren't always bad, and getting there sooner isn't always better. You have got to trust the timing of your life. You have to trust that you made the best choices you could have possibly made at the time, because guess what? You made them. And trust that every experience taught you something that you need to know right now. Number 2, and this is the most important step, you've got to go cold turkey on Compearschlager. I've talked about this before. Back in college, I had some nasty nights doing shots of this awful cinnamon-flavored liqueur called Goldschlager. It's pretty much disgusting. Now, when you compare your path with someone else's, you're basically drinking Compearschlager, which is like 100 times worse for you than Goldschlager, and I gotta say, that is not easy to do. Now, you know that you've been doing shots of Compearschlager when you're left with a major comparison hangover, which is what you're experiencing right now. Now, comparison is where all of this I should be further ahead by now BS stuff comes from. And I guarantee you, if you stop doing shots of Compearschlager to a very large extent, you're going to stop feeling all this angst and anxiety and hopelessness. They say comparison is the thief of joy. I say it's the hamburglar of happiness. It will not rest until it takes all of your self-esteem, makes off with it into the night, and leaves you doing the ugly cry in the corner. So you might be asking yourself, well, how do you stop comparing? It's pretty simple. You have got to put blinders on, because constantly looking to the right or to the left is actually what's slowing you down, and you need to focus on your own game. So if you really want to do a comparison cleanse, try this. Do a total social media detox and stop following or looking at people who you tend to compare yourself to. Don't pick up magazines or watch TV shows that portray some unrealistic ideal of perfection. Do not go actively searching for things that you know are going to leave you feeling upset. Now, I know that this takes discipline and it takes constant vigilance, but I gotta tell you, commit to this and I promise you will feel better than you've ever felt before, and you're gonna have more time and energy to make your dreams come to life. Let's land this plane on a repeatable tweetable. Where you are is exactly where you need to be. Trust the timing of your life. Now, if you're a mantra lover, try this. Where I am is exactly where I need to be. I trust the timing of my life. You got a 2 for today. You're welcome. Now, I would love to hear from you. Have you ever struggled with thinking, I should be further ahead by now? What helped you make peace with your path? As always, the best discussions happen after the episode over at marieforleo.com, so please go there and leave a comment now. Did you like this video? If so, subscribe. And of course, I would be so appreciative if you shared this with your friends. And if you want even more awesome resources to create a business and life that you love, plus some personal insights from me that I only talk about in email, come on over to marieforleo.com and make sure you sign up for email updates. Stay on your game and keep going for your dreams, because the world needs that special gift that only you have. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you next time on Marie TV. Ready to find your voice and sell with heart? We'll show you how. Get started now with our free writing class at thecopycure.com. Side effects include enlarged profits. No! Never cut! You might miss some magic. Whatever, dude. It's definitely nipply in here, which is fine. One of my spin teachers sounds just like Jodie Foster. And Leon's getting larger. This is so fun. In this episode of Marie TV, we do have some adult language. So if you have little ones around, grab your headphones now. Marie Forleo, and you are watching Marie TV, the place to be to create a business and life you love. If you have something inside of you that you want to bring to life, whether you want to write it, you want to bake it, you want to draw it, dance it, or paint it, you are in for a real treat. Today we're talking about what it takes to live a truly creative life, and my guest is really the person to show us how. Elizabeth Gilbert is the #1 New York Times bestselling author of Eat, Pray, Love, and several other internationally best-selling books of fiction and nonfiction. Gilbert began her career writing for Harper's Bazaar, Spin, the New York Times Magazine, and GQ, and was a 3-time finalist for the National Magazine Award. The follow-up memoir, Committed, became an instant #1 New York Times bestseller. Her latest novel, The Signature of All Things, was named a Best Book of 2013 by the New York Times, O Magazine, the Washington Post, the Chicago Tribune, and the New Yorker. Elizabeth's latest book, Big Magic: Creative Living Beyond Fear, which tackles the elusive mystery of creativity, taking the time to be here.
My pleasure. I love being here.
Big Magic is your new book, and I have to tell you, it's so genius. When I got this little copy below here that I actually have all flagged up and it's kind of
I love seeing flags coming out of books.
So I have to tell you that I didn't want this book to be over. So I slowed myself down and I would savor it just like you would savor a good meal. And I was so excited to have you on today because it's brilliant, and I feel like it's one of these books that I will keep going back to again and again and again. So I want to start by asking you, what was the big magic that inspired Big Magic? What inspired you to write this?
Wow, you know what it is? It's a response to years of being out in public, talking to people who tell me about the projects they want to be making and are not making, the things they want to be doing and are not doing. And oftentimes when I'm in public, I meet people who are making and doing really cool things and they want to tell me about it. But mostly it's people who aren't. And when they come to me with their problems about creativity or their struggles with creativity, because they know I love to talk about creativity, I find that they always have some sort of very rational, reasonable, kind of material, real world reason why they're not doing it, that they can lay out as an explanation. But when you start to scratch away at that, what's underneath it is always and only fear.
Yes.
Always and only fear. I don't care what the excuses or the rationalization or the justification for why they're not doing the thing that's calling to them. At the bottom of it, they're afraid. They're afraid they don't have the talent. They're afraid they don't have the right. They're afraid it's already been done better. They're afraid they'll be rejected or insulted or criticized or worse, ignored. They're afraid there's no point. There's afraid, they just have these like tumbling piles of fear. And I see it so much, and I hear the same questions again and again that I finally just thought, well, let's officially talk about this.
Yeah.
Let's actually really break this down and try to figure out how people can live more creative lives without being so scared.
One of the things you say about fear in the book is that fear is like a necessary companion.
Yeah.
And I loved that because I feel like in the world of personal development and sometimes in spirituality in certain circles, you want to push through your fear, get over your fear. Punch in the face, dude, or kick it, or whatever.
Yeah.
Or we, just demonize it in this way. And I was wondering if you could speak to this idea of fear as a companion.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, I have no desire to become a fearless person because the only genuinely fearless human beings I've ever met were psychopaths or toddlers, and neither one of those things is interesting for me to model my life after because there's something missing from that person.
Yes.
That's very essential, and you see it in the kind of weird eyes. You're like, wow, you are a dangerous human being to yourself and others. And I don't want to be anywhere near you. And so I'm not interested in fearlessness. Somebody said to me the other day, tell us how you conquered fear. And I was like, it's adorable that you think I have conquered.
You read the book?
Yeah, it's also I'm afraid right this minute. I'm afraid almost every minute of my life. So I haven't conquered it, and I'm not interested in conquering it. Actually, what my relationship with fear begins with is a tremendous amount of respect and appreciation, because fear is the reason I'm still alive today. It's the reason you're still alive today. Every single one of us can point to a moment in our lives that we survived because we were afraid, because they said the voice voices said, get out of that ocean, the waves are too big. You know, this car's going too fast. Don't get into the apartment with that guy. This street is not safe to walk down. All of us are here because our fear is constantly protecting us. That's its job, and it does its job beautifully. It's just that it's all jacked up on Red Bull, and it's really trigger happy, and it doesn't know the difference between a genuinely dangerous situation and just a little bit of a nervy situation, you know? So whenever I feel fear arise, which is constantly because I'm always trying to do creative things, and creativity will always provoke your fear because it asks you to enter into a realm with an uncertain outcome, and fear hates that, thinks you're going to die. So anytime I start a new creative project, the fear rises, and the first thing I do is say to it, thank you so much for how much you care about me and how much you don't want anything bad to happen to me, and I really appreciate that. Your services are probably not needed here because I'm just writing a poem. Like, no one's going to die. No one's going to die. It's okay. You know, and I just talk to it, but in this really friendly way, and I don't go to war against it. I acknowledge its importance, and then I invite it along. I'm like, you can come with me, but I'm doing this thing.
Yeah, I love the metaphor that you shared. It's like, fear's going to be in the car.
Yeah.
But it's going to be in the back seat.
Yeah.
It's not going to drive.
Or choose the snacks, or hold the map, or touch the radio. Like, fear doesn't get to make any decisions in creative ventures because, frankly, with all due respect to Grandfather Fear, it simply doesn't understand what creativity even is, because that's a newer part of our brain, so it doesn't even know what's going on. So you can't let it have any control over your creative choices, or else it will shut them down, one idea after another. It'll just be like, nope, don't do that, nope, too risky, nope, and it'll just be one no after another, and your life will be so much smaller than you want your life to be.
One of the things I love that you shared, which I feel is a big subset of fear, is this idea, it's all been done before. I think it's the thing that I hear the most, both in my own brain and when I talk to everyone.
Robbie here, and how would you like to learn how to make $1,000 a day online with no... So I get an email from Juan Quintero. It says, hi Leon, big fan. I stumbled across this and I'm bugging out. Really recommend seeing it. Possible video? It's outrageous. Thanks, dude. Keep the great content coming. Thanks, Juan. Now I get quite a few DMs and emails from people with content suggestions, and I do generally check them out, but it is hard to keep up, and more often than not, it just doesn't pan out. It just isn't content that I think would work well for a video, but occasionally, in this case, I'll click on it.
When it comes to manifesting more wealth and abundance, it's important to keep it light, remain open, and embrace a positive mindset.
And my curiosity gets the best of me. Let's take a peek. Hello everyone, and welcome back to a brand new Dark Souls 3 Let's Play. My name is Leon Lush. My name's Leon Lush, and it's just, I'm so grateful to have you here for a few minutes today. Now, the name of this video is Citrine Simple 40-Day Money Ritual. And I really think it's a wonderful fit for me because I love money as much as the next guy, right? And if all I have to do is watch this video and learn a 40-day ritual that's going to keep some more of that presidential broccoli in my wallet, you best believe I want to be in the know.
When it comes to manifesting more wealth and abundance, it's important to keep it light, remain open, and embrace a positive mindset.
Okay, right away, I just want to say she seems like a lovely lady, and I'm fully on board. The keep it light, remain open, and embrace a positive mindset. I'm 100% with you. We're off to a good start because the power of positive thinking is just, it's nothing to joke about. It's real.
But what happens when the negative mind chatter begins to take over? How do we shift out of that state fast?
Now pay close attention because I'm about to show you how. So follow my lead when the negative thoughts start creeping in. No, be gone, bad thoughts!
Easy. Reach for your crystal ally, citrine to illuminate your mind, body, and spirit with light.
Or, you could just grab your Crystal Ally citrine instead. I mean, whatever works for you. I have my method. She has hers. It's whatever.
Hi, crystal lovers. My name is Heather Askinosi, founder of Energy Muse and author of Crystal Muse, Everyday Rituals to Tune Into the Real You. And today, it's all about citrine, the light maker.
So Heather is a YouTuber, an author, and a bit of a crystal enthusiast, which is self-evident if you watch any of her videos. And admittedly, I don't have a lot of experience using the power of crystals to help manifest wealth, but that is why we're here, is to learn about this citrine 40-day money ritual.
Whenever I think about citrine, this particular story always comes to mind. One day, I was scrolling through our Secret Crystal Lovers community on Facebook.
Okay, a little side note here. One thing I've learned in my time online is the telltale sign that someone is a legitimate online entrepreneur is when they have their very own secret Facebook group. You want to learn about the power of crystal healing in my secret online Facebook crystal group? Well, I hope you got the invite because it's a secret. It's a secret group on Facebook.
One day, I was scrolling through our Secret Crystal Lovers community on Facebook when a post caught my eye.
One day, Nigel was scrolling through his secret Dick Lovers community on Facebook when a picture of an uncut 10.5-incher caught his eye. I don't know why I have any subscribers.
Remember, Becky had posted all about her crystal journey. She had purchased a citrine point to help her manifest her financial goal of buying a house. Being newer to using crystals, she said she hadn't really used it until the sudden need for a second vehicle arose.
Fair point.
This financial obstacle began to weigh on her, and the stress began to build.
Cars
then,
aren't cheap. Cars
she
are not
remembered the citrine point she had bought a little while back. She wrote the intention, I will purchase a vehicle in cash and quickly replenish my savings on a piece of paper and placed it under her point.
Powerful.
At Full Sail, our technology programs are designed with a different approach to learning. We let students get hands-on and start creating. They're learning to code and they're developing applications. They're exploring areas like cloud computing and UX design. Our students have access to amazing tools like 3D printing, laser scanning, and the latest advances in augmented and virtual reality. We're taking them out of the classroom and into the future.
Hi, I'm Rex Moore with the Motley Fool, and I've been to a very crowded CES for 8 straight years now. And I can honestly say that there's one thing I'm seeing this year that I've never seen before, and that is one technology that's responsible for so much of the industries and the companies you see here today. That technology projected to be worth $17 trillion by the year 2035. Okay, maybe this sign gives it away. Or this one. Or this one. It seems everywhere I turned this year, 5G was somewhere in sight. In the virtual and augmented reality booths, medical tech, Internet of Things, and automobiles. These industries and many more are relying on 5G's lightning speed to help propel them forward. If you're interested in investing, this should be sounding alarm bells in your head. I'll tell you why in just a second. But first, let me give you an idea of the kind of leap forward in speed we're talking about here. As 5G replaces 4G on your phone, PC Magazine says instead of 7 minutes to download an HD movie, you'll be able to do it in 6 seconds. With that in mind, look at what's happened in the tech world roughly every 10 years. 2G allowed us to go digital with text messaging and pictures. 3G brought mobile internet access and video calls, and 4G, gaming, and mobile TV. 5G could usher in another tech revolution, and we might not see anything like it for another 10 years. And now you're beginning to see why 5G has even been called one of the greatest arrivals in technology since the birth of the internet itself. It's no wonder that the president recently urged Apple's CEO to get involved with 5G, and the Washington Post declared it the mother of invention.
Hello?
Yes, 5G has the potential to radically change our lives and society as we know it.
Okay.
But if you're an investor, the
implications are
okay, we'll bring it in when we get back. I'm gonna finish this race and then I'll be out. Okay, so it'll be like 2-3 minutes.
With a lot of people eyeing some of the more obvious names,
2 to 3 minutes.
Samsung, Verizon, and Apple, here's why I think the smart money is doing something different, and that's homing in on smaller stocks that are out of the public eye and that serve the 5G industry in a unique way that few, if any, can replicate. Fortunately, Motley Fool co-founder David Gardner and his team of experts have their fingers on the pulse of 5G, and they've identified one under-the-radar California company that's cleverly positioned itself with its unique business model and technology. It's a company that can benefit no matter who wins among those big carriers I just mentioned. Now, you'll rarely hear the talking heads in the financial media mention this company in connection with 5G, which is even better for us. But this company is quietly making moves that could see its stock rocket ahead when 5G goes mainstream, which Forbes predicts will be this year. And if you're wondering why you should trust David Gardner and his Motley Fool Rule Breakers team, their actual verified results may help. In fact, David's ability to spot tech trends before they take off speaks for itself. Perhaps you've heard about some of his early calls on AOL, Amazon.com, and Netflix, but maybe not his more recent recommendations like the ones you see here. The bottom line is that his Motley Fool Rule Breaker service is beating the S&P 500's returns by an incredible 2-to-1 margin since its inception. Which brings me back to the 5G play that's right underneath our noses today. At this potentially historic moment, it's one stock that really has our attention. That's why